Hi, my name is Aaron Cruz. This is a story about how our family came back to Regency Park. We were young. Me and Alvin were young whenever we had our first child. As many of you know, we have 4 kids now. But with our first child, we were out of church. We weren't really committed into serving God and doing those types of things. Not that we were living just a crazy simple life or anything, but we just we both grew up going to church. We both grew up doing things and activities with church, but as soon as we got as adults, we were out of school, we had graduated. Those types of things had changed drastically in our life. Our parents weren't there as much, telling us and making us wake up on Sunday mornings versus, Sunday morning, come with your parents, or wake up, get your butt together, and get to church. Those types of things. It seemed like as we had our second child, our oldest one was about 4 or 5 years old, and my in-laws would come and pick him up for church on Sunday mornings. He loved going to church. He liked going to VBS activities, and we would go watch him do his VBS activities. And we knew that's kind of like, man, we need to be going to church. The funny thing is the church that she went to as a kid and she grew up in is a church we started going back to, which was a very strict church, and the things that you do at those types of churches is not exactly how we were living, per se. The pastor that had taken over that church at the time, I actually had been able to do some work with him and do different things, involved with the church with him. He was a great mentor. He ultimately was the guy that got me turned into doing mission trips and wanting to do mission involved stuff and working with kids and different things. A friend of ours that was the pastor at the church that we ended up going to start our church life at, really was able to set me down. He was the pastor at that church. He set me down and talked to me about, Ben's coming to church. He doesn't see you at church. And to really be that father figure, you need to be at church. You need to be at least be present there, whether you're coming for God or coming to set an example. And that really struck me. That really struck me pretty well because of how honest he was being with me at the time. And it was more or less, the honesty is really why I liked going to church with him, why I liked being, in study groups with him, things like that. And then we had a family member die. Brother Keith taught or preached the funeral, and I remember him sitting there asking me, and I hadn't spoke to him in probably 7 or 8 years at that time. Whenever I was coming here as a teen and in youth and stuff, I probably hadn't talked to him since then, but maybe a handful of times. And he asked me, he goes, "Where are you going to church at? Are you going to church somewhere?" And that was like, yeah, we're going to Cornerstone. This is what we're doing, and he was just super proud that we were just going to church somewhere. Whenever we were looking to go somewhere else, it was easy to come back to Regency because we knew we fit into to the type of people that go to church here. They're just happy that you walk through the door. They're happy that you're wanting to help, that you're bringing your kids every week, and those types of things like that. And really, that's where we wanted to be. And we wanted the kids to feel safe, want to come to church. They enjoy coming to church. If anybody's seen Finley come to church, everybody knows when she comes in, she's super excited to be here. She loves loving on people, and she loves loving people, and people loving on her. So that's a big bonus for us. And I just know that as being a father now, and your kids being in church and seeing them get to grow up and grow in church is probably one of the best, fatherly things that we can do. And it's a good example of how God or Jesus is for us, as us growing in His light. When we do stuff for Him, I mean, I would imagine that they're just rejoicing in heaven every time that they get to do stuff like that. That they see us looking down on us, that we're trying to better our lives to represent Him. So, just to kind of summarize everything there, for it being Father's Day, how children can push you to do things, sometimes to get off your comfort zone. Getting back in church, not that it was necessarily uncomfortable to go to church, but just getting back in those rhythm of things, being a Christian and trying to be obedient and setting an example for children, as a father should. I had read something a few weeks before Brother Keith had asked me to do this, and it was in Joshua 1:9, and it says, "This is my command: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And that really stands out for fathers. I feel like that no matter what you have to do for your kids, no matter who you have to stand up to, or have to set the example by doing something that you probably don't really want to do, but you need to set that good example. And that just really hit home with me with Father's Day coming up, is that I try to better myself every week to set the better example for not only my kids, but all the youth kids that, that we get to spend every week and every Sunday morning with.